Hi loves, it's Lacey and welcome to our space. Today we're going to be doing some little small DIYs to go together to make a big Valentine's DIY, starting off with mainly Dollar Tree products, this piece of wood, this welcome sign, these two like window panes that came with the little square on the front that I already took off of those from a Dollar Tree as well. Also, I have two lanterns. They both light up and I had them in my stash already. I'm not sure if they still have these, but they have other ones. I have these brads that came from Michael's. They're in little heart shapes. Some are pink, some white. I have these two grapevine wreaths that came out of pack of 5. This ribbon here that are little hearts. I used two actually. These pit berries, these roses, and then this wreath garland from Michael's and some chopping mats. So first thing we're going to do is take one of the chopping mats, because they come 2 in a pack, and we're going to trace out one of the window panes and then cut out 2 of them to go behind these. These chopping mats are kind of frosted. It's hard to tell here with my desk being white, but I want to put them behind the window panes because these openings in it are just open. There's nothing behind them. You can see all the way to the wall and put your fingers right through it. So I want to close that off and give them a little bit of shaded. What I'm making, which I'm sure you saw in the thumbnail, is like a couple of doors to lead into what I'm saying is a Valentine's secret garden. So once you get these two cut out all the way, and make sure when you trace them, you cut them inside the line that you make and not outside, or else they'll be a little too big. You can trim them after if you have any issues, but cut them inside of the line that you traced around, and then put them behind, and you can test them, and if they're a little too big, you can cut them down a little more. Then you're going to make sure that you glue the frosted side up and the shiny side will be facing you. And we're just going to glue them along the back. I'm only going to put glue around the edges of, and not on any of the inner workings of it, just all the way around, and it should hold it. I just wanted the doors to be frosted, so like when you walked up to them, if you were there, you couldn't see all the way through them. I do this to both of the doors, and then I'm going to set them up aside, and I'm going to grab those 2 grapevine wreaths. We're going to then take some of this garland, which is just like little leaves that I got from Walmart a long time ago. I'm still using it for my stash. I'm pretty sure they sell something like this there, but if not, you can probably make something from Dollar Tree work. And I'm just going to wind it all the way around as if I'm making a wreath to go on a normal door. I'm just going to make sure you can still see the grapevine wreath through it, because this is going to be one of 2 things that we put on this wreath, as in florals basically. I'm just going to cut it off and just keep winding it, making sure not to cover up the entire grapevine section. And I'm going to do that to both of them. And as you can see, also, these little leaves break off of this all the time and they just keep falling off. So I'm just sweeping them to the side because I'm going to use a few of them a little later in the video. Then next, after we have both of those covered, we're going to use some of these berries that are on the vine. These are pink and they have a little bit of glitter. I don't think these came from Dollar Tree, but Dollar Tree does sell pink ones and purple ones around this time of year. They might even have like a yellow or whatever, depending on what color you want to use. These are already in little sections, so I just did one of the sections, and I'm just going to do the same thing and kind of go over where the greenery part is, making sure I don't cover up the entire grapevine. I want them to look like actual wreaths that I would make to put on a door. I do this to both of these as well. Next, I thought the wreaths were missing something, and I found these little tags in those little containers from Dollar Tree, and they say Happy Valentine's Day on them. So they have little holes in them where they came with some baker's twine, but I just stuck part of the berries garland through to hold it inside of there. And I had 2 of them. I was going to write on the back of one of them and make it say something different, but I messed up 2 of them trying to do it, so they both are going to say Happy Valentine's Day. Next, I have this ribbon with little hearts, and they're iridescent. I I like them. I think they're really pretty. I wish they were more matte and not shiny, but I'm going to cut some pink, and then I found some iridescent that's kind of white with a pink glare to it, and I'm going to cut some of that to go across the top as like a banner garland. But before I do anything with those, I just want to make sure I had long enough pieces. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue down our wreaths. So I'm just going to be using my Ryobi Big Bad Boy glue gun, and I'm going to put a little glue underneath that center section on either side and press the wreath down so it can be held tightly there. And do the same thing on the other side. If you don't hold these down because they're so three-dimensional, they won't stick. And so I just hold them down with some pressure, and I put them right next to each other so they are the same height. After I get done with that, then I'm going to glue the two pieces together on their sides. It's supposed to be doors, and I'm going to put them up on that wood block. Now, I did hold these tightly and press them together because there is a gap naturally with them, and wait for the glue to dry fully for this. And for that wood block that's in the back that Dollar Tree carries these every season, I gave it one coat of a white acrylic paint because it was kind of messed up, and I am painting the back side of it. I didn't paint the front side as you saw with the words because you're not going to see it. Now I'm just taking a ruler and I'm measuring to make sure that these are about the same size on each side, centered in the middle of the block. And I'm going to mark it with a pencil so then I can glue it down to it in the center. I'm also going to put a bunch of hot glue on the thickest portions of our welcome sign and put that on the front, and I'm just going to eyeball this to where I think it should be to have the doors centered on the top. Sorry, you have to work pretty fast with this with hot glue, though I have a high heat hot glue gun, so it didn't dry right away on the galvanized metal. Then I am going to take and put my garland, the little hearts on. Now, I found the best way to do this because I want them to look like they're draping down a little is to start up with one of the hearts and then glue some sections in the middle to hold it because it wants to roll up on you. And so then I'm going to glue down the other end and then glue the middle sections. I change how I do it when I do the white one. I glue down one end and then I glue the middle sections and then I glue down the other end. So do what I say and not what I did on the first one. So glue down the end and then glue down the middle sections to make it lay down correctly, just wherever it will sit and fit. And then glue down the other end, as you can see what I'm doing here. And it lays down easier and you don't have to worry about tearing it or pulling it. A lot of ribbon comes on that spool, so if you mess it up, you will probably have some left over if you haven't already used some off your spool. So this is the way that I'm doing it. I do realize before someone tells me that if these were doors, you wouldn't be able to pull them open, but we're going to be pushing them open and it's fake, so it's okay. I just wanted some garland up there. So then I'm going to take the brads, and they have little sections on the back that you can open up and put through like paper and then fold down or whatever. I'm just going to fold those down in the back like this, as you can see, and then I'm going to put them where the cross beams are and try to space them the same distance apart and have them exactly the same height. That's another reason why I glued everything together before I put these on, because these are going to be our doorknobs. And I just thought it was really cute that I had all this heart themed stuff in my stash. So I'm just going to take my time and glue these down because you guys know I have long nails and I really can't function without my long nails. So I do take my time to put these on and get them nice and straight. It's really not that hard, to tell the truth. But I make sure that I let them glue down all together. They actually look like they're doorknobs because with the back being raised up a little, they raise up from the actual doors that I'm making here. And I think they look super cute. Once I have those on, then we are going to glue this, and I have little marks that I made to the top. I'm going to put a generous amount of glue in the middle section for that, and then I'm going to make sure that both ends, that's what I was doing there, have enough glue so this will sit down. Now you could pull it all the way forward if you want it on there. There's plenty of room, and put a couple of jingle blocks behind it too. So now I'm just showing you that I used some Waverly Ballerina and some red flamingo red paint, acrylic paint, mix them together to make the color that I painted on those two hearts. I initially was going to put the roses here in the middle of these, and I decided against it. I didn't like the color of the roses with what I already had going on, and so I thought I was going to put them in the little pots. So I'm going to then paint every section but the top and the bottom of these lanterns white. I was going to leave them the natural color, but I didn't really like it, and then I decided the big little pots that I had, I ended up painting the tops of those that color that I painted the hearts that are going to go on the lanterns. You can see here I just painted the top edge all the way around, and then the little tiny pots that came from Dollar Tree, I painted the bottom of those. I figured nobody wanted to see me paint those, so you'll see those coming up in a second, but I just wanted to show you that I did that with the color that I mixed because I had enough mixed paint. And then I'm painting the sides and the front, not the inside and not the bottom or the top of the little lanterns. And if you guys remember my haul, this thing, I love this thing to paint. I talked about it a lot in my haul, and I love it to paint. So now I want to dress up these lanterns just a little bit, and I'm taking a little of the garland, the greenery garland that I have from Walmart, and I'm going to put it on the top and the bottom section of these lanterns. I thought they looked a little plain and they needed something else because these doors are going to be going into the garden. I'm going to say they're going into my secret garden, even though it's not a secret. So this is what they look like when you do that. And then we're going to go ahead and glue on the hearts that I painted on the front. Now these hearts I got out of my stash. They came from Amazon, but Dollar Tree already has painted hearts, and they have some natural ones too that you can paint if you want to do the same kind of color scheme. Then I'm going to cut off the tops, which is just some twine hangers that they have on there. And I'm going to take these picks from Dollar Tree. I know I didn't show these to you in the beginning, or the hearts, because I craft as I go and I come up with things. And I'm just going to cut off the little pick part to them, but not all the way down. I'm going to leave a little bit on the end so then I can stick it in the hole. These picks, actually, you can just take the pick out of the heart, but I want to keep it in there so I can stick this down into the hole where the twine was coming out. And it makes for the cutest little topper to these lanterns. And the color is almost the color that I had before. So this is what it looks like. Then I'm going to take some of those leftover little greenery pieces that all kept falling off. And this was tedious. You don't have to do this, but you guys know I'm extra. Very extra. So I put them on the bigger pots, and I added a little flower that came from this stem. It's something I had in my stash. I think a long time ago. It came from Joann's or from Hobby Lobby. I'm not even sure. But I'm going to cut off some of the stems from that, and then I'm going to cut off actual part of the stem, the little brown part, because for the big pots, I am going to make some topiaries. Because what did I just say? I'm extra. And today I'm extra. These came out really cute. So what I did is I took some stems from that flower pot, and then I took a large bead out of my stash, and I'm just going to put some hot glue in it and stick that little stem in it. And then once it dries, it's going to take a minute because I put too much hot glue in there, and I'm going to hold it. I'm going to cover it with some reindeer moss. But before I do that, I take one cotton ball and I just stick it in each of the little larger pots. And as you can see, I have some of those roses sitting over there. They are actually in the smaller pots, but I didn't like it. I ended up taking those out in a little bit, and you'll see. But this reindeer moss that I had was the only green, really green moss that I had, and I did not like it. It was kind of horrible. It felt like there was a lot of little stems in it and stuff, but it worked out in the end. Where there was too many stems, I just cut them off or pull them apart. And I'm covering this whole thing with some hot glue because I didn't think it would be so bad with all these little stems. So if you use the same stuff, I suggest you just cover part of it with hot glue and do little sections at a time. But you'll see I struggle with pulling this stuff apart some, and it's just kind of horrible. If you have better moss, it will work out so much nicer. It didn't take me that long. I sped up this footage a little bit, but this stuff was not pretty to work with. I'm just letting you guys know. So I cover the whole thing on this, and then once I get it covered, I do trim it up with some little scissors, like the detail scissors from Dollar Tree. I don't really show you guys that. I just show you that you can use scissors like that to trim it up if you don't like what it looks like. And once I get it all done, I just put a little glue in the bottom of this pot, and I stick this in. And since it's top heavy, you have to just hold it until it dries. And then I put a different moss that's like a brown tone over the cotton ball. I'm sorry I didn't show that to you guys. I don't know where that footage went. And I didn't show you that in the second one, I did 2 balls. I made a longer stem instead of that short one, and I did 2 balls. So then in the smaller pots, I took out those roses because I didn't think they matched. And I'm putting in some of these Dollar Tree like light pink stems that they had last year. They usually have them every year, and they come in like yellow, pink, a couple other colors, I think purple. And then I have this from Dollar Tree. I love these stem of flowers. I don't know what they call them. They might be roses. I used them on this particular project before, making like a tree that's in the park. It's a Valentine's project. I will link it down below if you want to see it. I made it out of clothespins. It was all Dollar Tree, nothing from any other store. So I took the only piece that I had left. I wish I could find this again. If you guys see it somewhere, please let me know or contact me and I can send money to you to send me some, because it's my favorite flower. I bent it over the back and made another like tree that's growing, and then I just set up everything to show you how it's supposed to look. I love how this project turned out. At the beginning I said it's like a little whole bunch of little DIYs, like the little wreaths. You can make those and set them on anything, and that's a project on its own. And then the little lanterns are so cute. You can make those and set those by themselves or buy something. They do light up, and that's a project by itself. And then the little topiaries in the little pots that they have in the garden section right now, you could make those and set those up somewhere, and that's a project by itself also. And then of course the doors in general, it looks like you're going into a secret garden. I had this little sidewalk section from the winter section of the fairy gardens, and I just thought it matched really, really well. You could take the welcome sign off of it completely and make like a long step in front of there, and it would look so much more like you're walking into somewhere. But I like the welcome sign. And then on the back, I decided to put some fairy lights at the bottom. I just glued them back to the bottom. So when it lights up at night, it has a glow in behind the doors, like you're walking into something magical. So that's it for this video. Comment down below, would you make any of these DIYs? Would you make this entire thing for Valentine's Day? I wanted to do something that wasn't like bright red, and I really like pinks for Valentine's Day, so it kind of worked out. I made this for my entryway table because it says welcome, and I just love it. So if you're not subscribed here, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and I will catch all of you in my next video. Bye, loves.